influential rap art groups of all time, N.w.a.
You forgot a couple of people there.
Yeah, but they're not really as prominent in the film, are they? Yeah, there are others, sorry.
That's true.
Because the film focuses more around the three of them, but you're right. You got MC Ren, you got DJ Yella,
DJ Yella.
You got Mr. Prince as well.
Oh yeah, Abram Prince, Professor, aka Professor X.
Yeah. But let's be honest. The movie, the first half is all about Eazy-E. I think. He is the group, and he's the original kind of gangster as well. You get your first idea of how it was making records back in that time, where he would hustle during the day.
He's the real hustler.
He was the real deal. Hustle, drug deal, and then with his money, he would then buy time in the studio for the guys. Obviously, he was already having his deal and stuff already on the cards. And it's good that it did focus around him first, and then the rest of the group as well. But you're not coming from an N.w.a kind of fan thing, and this was all new to you. So what did you kind of glean from it? Without giving away the ending, we'll talk about the ending a bit later, and kind of the problems.
I'm an N.w.a fan. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So, what was your kind of take on it when you first watching Eazy-E kind of hustling away and making that green?
Well, yeah, obviously it introduces all the characters. It mostly focuses on Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, and then Eazy. I mean, it kind of flipped things around. It focused a lot on Dre, so. Well, my first take on it is, well, we'll go from the beginning. The first take on it is that everyone's very innocent. Like, it's a story about, they've taken it to the extreme of a story about kids that didn't want to be involved in any gang stuff, and they just wanted to do music.
Yeah.
Which, it might be true to an extent, but they kind of made it the very extreme, which I understand they had to do because they wanted to show that the police were being unfair, and I don't think they could have done it. I don't think they could have done that properly if they'd sort of shown more of what they're up to in their own way. So they had to show sort of pure, clean.
You're right. You had to PG-13 those bits out and then concentrate more on the police brutality and things they would see on the streets.
I mean, the only guy that seems to be in the sort of drugs game or anything like that seems to be Eazy-E, and he's like almost like he's not part of the music thing, and they also swap it around, which is they really focus on Dre being the good guy, and they rather than having, I mean, in reality, as far as I know, Eazy-E started his label and then he chased up Dr. Dre, but in this we've given completely different portrayal where Dr. Dre, he's doing the music and he actually goes up to Eazy-E and says, hey, do you want to put some money up and make some records? So they've even changed the history where Dr. Dre is now sort of the founder and like sort of changed it up a bit. But I mean, even before that though, we've got some great scenes in Compton of really some extreme violence and police brutality and stuff going on. So it does really set the scene in that respect and shows the sort of dark side of Compton back in the day, so that's a good setup. So it's nice to see that.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, because obviously I love Dr. Dre, the first billionaire that he is from the rap game. His character has changed in the film. I'm not going to say because it's the producer trying to be kind of biased or anything. The film could have been 4 hours and they could have showed more of the things that happened, which obviously kind of didn't come across in the film, around what Dr. Dre did, the kind of misdemeanors he got up to. In the film, he's a bit more squeaky clean, and that could have
very clean.
Could have been by accident, may not have been done intentionally, but it's
I mean,
one of those things. If you don't know enough about the band, you'd be, wow, Dr. Dre was just, look how squeaky clean this guy is.
Oh yeah,
and he is.
I mean, it's totally believable. I mean, we've seen the image of Dr. Dre. He's quite heavy in his rap, but he's got this sort of he wants to say I'm sort of the clean side as well, and I'm doing things legit. So you totally buy it from, if you didn't read up on the history at all, or didn't follow what was going on, you totally buy that Dr. Dre's squeaky clean, perfect. I think. I mean, of course you got the other guys, MC
Ren.
MC Ren, that's the one, and DJ Yella. There's no real. They completely ignore their plot and their part, and the Arabian Prince and the changeover of the N.w.a. setup that changed over time.
On the three main characters, aren't they?
Yeah, they completely ignore it. It's nice to see them, and they have got their own characters, but you just get the feeling that they're not strong enough characters to be doing something on their own, so they just get left on the wayside, really.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, if you look at record sales and stuff after, obviously, they've all had platinum selling record deals.
Exactly, yeah.
Dr. Dre became a huge producer of Death Row Records afterwards with Suge. Well, I wouldn't say with the help of Suge Knight, because I'm not a big fan of Suge Knight at all. He did help his cousin as well, Warren G, Nate Dogg, Snoop Dogg 213. So there's so much that Dr. Dre did, even Eminem as well, signed Eminem doing 50k a week, as he says in Still Dre. So he's done amazingly well. It could have just been a Dr. Dre film, and I would have loved it. I'm such a big fan, and they could have just talked about the Chronic 2001, and that would have been happy days for me. I think with all films, when they get to that bit when Ice Cube's just left the band, and you're trying to think why, and it's because he wants bigger paychecks because of the royalties. He's due that, and then they start the dissing. And I remember when the diss tracks used to come out, I was not a fan of them initially, because I loved both the band and I loved Ice Cube and Dre and the rest of it. So when they started dissing each other,
that line in the film where he's like, we shouldn't have set our fans against each other. So yeah. And
it took Eazy-E's the end of the film, the Eazy-E passing, for it all to kind of be squashed, and it is really sad to see such great artists kind of fall apart because even Eazy-E has a pop back then as well, and so much happened. And I think in the song I Need a Doctor as well, Dr. Dre admitted this took too long, and this wasn't what should have happened. There's an easier way of kind of squashing all this. And I think that's key as well with the film. You may not realise it's just like, as much as stuff goes on, friendship and everything, and you fall apart for whatever reasons, or family, whatever it be, at some point, you have to just kind of let it go. You have to squash that beef. And look at Dr. Dre now; he's a billionaire. He's sold that to Apple. So
I mean, talking about the songs, I mean, it's a brilliant soundtrack. Obviously,
F the Police, when that came on, how they did that in the film was amazing. It's just what kind of theme.
Yeah, for anyone that hasn't seen it, they really line up. They sort of line up to the music, because the music tells the story in itself in a way. Because it's reality rap. That's what they called it. So the music sort of tells the story, and they just they bring it through. They bring the story along, and they just put the appropriate track down just at the right time.
Yeah.
And it just really fits perfectly. I think.
Really well.
And just carries it.
Yeah, obviously the soundtrack is still, listening to songs today, it's still kind of like they don't sound out of date. Dr. Dre obviously
never age,
did all of that. Then he was part of G-Funk, and as a producer, most times you listen back to old songs and you think, they don't sound good, but when you hit Straight Outta Compton and you hear the Ice Cube rap straight away, you're like, this sounds good. And then when After Police came on, everything, my theatre was kind of jumping around. I was just like, I love it.
Down in Detroit.
I could watch 4 hours of this, turn into a 5-hour flick. I was happy.
Yeah.
So,
true.
I was enjoying that bit.
I mean, from what I've seen, people just come out giving it 100% marks, 5 out of 5 star sort of style, and I can see why. I mean, there's not really anything that bad you can say about the film. It's just an enjoyable film.
It's a great film. I think they just brushed the surface of the kind of
Definitely.
the problems that were caused when Ice Cube had to leave the band, or was left the band, and kind of like the things that Dr. Dre got up to, the misdemeanors. They kind of didn't show any of that. So for those who don't know, obviously you can look into all of that. It's all quite well documented, but it's just in the biopic you don't see any of that, and it becomes, I guess the third act is more about it's almost it's a bit slower than the first two, but as Easy, it's kind of chronics Eazy-E a bit more, and Eazy-E's the man. So I was loving seeing him, and the actors were great. A little Ice Cube, brilliant actor. Can't wait to see more of him, and the same with the other guys as well. They're all good.
True, they're all very good actors, and they actually look a lot like the people they're supposed to be. So that's obviously really good for just getting into the feel of it.
I'd love to see a sequel where they have Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Warren.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've been hearing. We want to see the future. What happens next with bringing back Snoop Dogg and all that. That'd be great. Yeah. Obviously, any film that's based on real events is going to change the story up a bit and take liberties and artistic license, but it still came off as a really good representation, I think.
Yeah.
Of what's going on there. I mean, a lot of the stuff. I mean, they showed a bit of the riots and that as well. Wasn't much. I mean, I would have personally liked to see a bit more of Compton, because I just like that whole area, the locations as well. But we did get to see a bit of that, so I might have liked to see a bit more of that. But apart from that, yeah. Are we gonna try and grade this?
Yeah, I think there's only ever one biopic that would be better than this, and it's the one that I enjoy the most is the Biggie one. So I put it up against Notorious, and I think because it doesn't cover enough of the other characters. It's about the three main characters who I love, and I feel the last act could have been a bit better, I think, and if it was longer, they could have covered more of the truth around kind of the things, so people can really see what happened at those times.
It was kind of long already, wasn't it?
It is, but if you love the band, you can sit there.
It didn't drag at all. It didn't drag at all. It's like,
for me, I would say it's a strong 8. Very, very great film. Almost perfect in everything it could be to do with N.w.a. Just a couple of things that weren't quite there, but if it went to the point where, I don't know, it just felt like if you had a bit more of Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, a bit more of the beef, and the rest of it had that actually happen, I would say it's definitely as good definitely as good as Biggie's biopic. But until then, no. Biggie's Christopher Wallace's Notorious is still my favourite rap biopic of all time.
Cool. Okay, well, as for me, as a biopic, I would have to probably score it lower, because you're right, there are better biopics out there. But as a story, a story that people are anticipating, and they want to see a bit of it, even though they sort of changed the story around, because that's what I'm saying, it's weaker in the biopic respect. So, yeah, as a film, I don't know why I'm even grading it seems silly. Yeah, I mean, as a likeable film, it's up there in the 8s or 9s. Hard to find flaws with it. Maybe even a 10 as in terms of expecting something and getting something good out of it. In terms of biopic, maybe it would be down towards the 6 or 7 mark. So I guess I'll average it out at about 8.5 maybe.
I think to see the soundtrack come to life,
to be fair,
it's well worth it.
Oh yes, the soundtracks, that's very true.
Literally see them all come together to make the amazing Straight Outta Compton album. It's well worth it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what I was saying. It's like the story and bringing that music to life is done really well. So yeah, for that I could even notch up to a 9. So yeah, let's just call it a 9 for me.
Brilliant.
You swayed me.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, what do you guys think? Have you seen it? Are you going to see it? Do you agree with us? you think this is the best biopic of all time? Let us know in the comments.